Good evening, everyone. Today is October 28th, and we're very excited that you are joining us here. My name is Joel Ivany, the Artistic Director of Against the Grain Theatre in Toronto, Ontario. ATG is on Treaty 13 territory, and this is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We're grateful to be on this land making music and art, and thankful to be here, and we hope to do more of it. We got a special guest for you tonight. Our guest is the operatic countertenor John Holliday. John trained at Juilliard and has performed at Carnegie Hall, Cincinnati Opera, LA Opera, Glimmerglass, Dutch National Opera, and toured all over with Gustavo Dudamel. But most recently, he kind of made some national attention for his audition on NBC's The Voice. And so we're going to talk singing, his epic audition, and what the future of opera could look like. John Holliday, welcome. Yay.
There we go.
There we go.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Welcome to Canada, virtually.
Yes, Canada.
How are you doing?
I am doing so well. Thank you so much for asking me, Joel. I really appreciate that. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. It's good. It's good talking to you. So that's kind of nice.
It is.
So I guess this big sort of moment that happened, but how has this, just to get it out of the way, how has the pandemic how have you coped during this really weird time for all of us in the arts industry?
It has been quite the roller coaster ride. I mean, I'm sure you can imagine. Right when COVID hit, I was actually performing the title role of Xerxes at Opera du Rouen in France, about maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours outside of Paris, when the President of the United States stopped travel to and from the United States. So it was kind of difficult because everything that I was doing basically stopped. And then cancellations started coming, one after the other. And I get them thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then it shifted to, what are my friends going to do? I have lots of friends in the industry, in industries across the entertainment spectrum. And I just began to worry about everyone. So totally the pandemic has been quite a journey, but I'm thankful that I've had the opportunity to share my voice on NBC's The Voice. So
nice.
I'm looking forward to that.
That's good. And we'll get into your beautiful voice in just a second, but how did you get into singing? What was it that, your voice type is one of the unique ones in opera and even the world. So how did you get into singing?
I started singing at the age of 2. My grandmother and my mom, who are in the video, who you see cheering for me in the background, they often say that I sang before I spoke. So I have to believe, because I don't remember. But they would put me on top of pianos and tables, and I would sing. So I've been singing from a very, very, very young age. And then as far as I can remember, it's just been a huge part of my life and who I am, and a part of the gifts that God has endowed me with to share with other people. So I really feel privileged to be a singer and honored to be a singer. But I've gone and I was in a boys choir growing up, and then going from boys choir to high school choir, then going to college as a vocal performance major at Southern Methodist University. I've just been really lucky to do what I love. There has never been a moment that I wake up in the morning and I say, I hate what I do. I literally wake up every morning energized and ready to tackle the day. So yeah, I love singing, and I'm happy to be a singer, so I can share it with you guys.
Yeah, that energy is perfect and exactly what we need. Yes. Yeah. So you're a singer. You're a successful countertenor in France, in North America, kind of singing all over Europe.
Yeah.
And what drew you to? I know a couple other people in the industry who've kind of, I don't want to say crossed over, but gone into I know a singer who auditioned for The Bachelor. And so what was it that drew you to auditioning for The Voice?
Because I'd literally just come back from France, and everything was stopping. And I wondered to myself, what could I do? What can I myself do to continue sharing hope, joy, and love? What can I do to continue sharing the gift of music during this time? And I thought this was a wonderful opportunity to do this show. Oftentimes, there are people within the opera industry who people will come up to them who don't really go to a lot of operas, and they'll say, "Oh, you can sing. You should audition for The Voice, or you should audition for another, show." And sometimes people, especially opera singers, they will get so mad. Like, I'm a real singer. I sang at this opera house or that opera house, and they in fact do. But this is, as a friend was just saying, this is a leveling agent. This has been a leveling agent where it has forced us all to kind of rethink our priorities. What is your priority? Do you want to share your music, or do you not want to share your music? Do you want to share love, or do you not want to share love? And so one of the ways that I thought that I could do that was through this show. And God, I'm so lucky and so happy that I did try, because if I hadn't tried, I wouldn't be sitting here with you.
Yeah.
So, I'm thankful for the opportunity to sing and to share music and to share love and hope. If I can take people out of their sadness and their depression for just a small moment, then I've already won the show. I've already won.
Well, that's kind of it too, because I think a big part, which I think I'm hearing more people talk about, is how even mental health is becoming a big issue.
Yeah.
And the fact of even singing anything for anyone just kind of reminds them of the joy that they used to have before all of this. So I think that's a wonderful thing. And like you said, the timing could not have been better for doing this, because we're all kind of in this weird pause. I think it was today that Germany has announced further lockdowns starting on November 2nd, where again, they're just shutting everything down. And we need joy, we need music, and we need your smile.
We do. And it doesn't cost anything to be kind. It doesn't cost anything to tell someone, I'm thinking of you, or I hope that you feel better, or I understand where you're coming from. And so honestly, for me, and I'm so happy that came across on TV, but I am one of those singers that I really believe one of my jobs in life is to just remind people of the hope, remind people of the love and the joy that does exist. It's out there. Sometimes you have to look hard for it. And then sometimes you get lucky and you find it on NBC's The Voice every Monday. So, and I'm not talking about me. I'm just saying I've watched it every day that it's come on, and I get so uplifted by seeing, of course, now they're my friends on TV. And I feel so lucky to be a part of it. I really do. I feel so blessed that I get to make someone's day, or I get to make them happy for just a little bit. So.
And it's really encouraging to know that, again, this wasn't filmed months and months and months and months ago, but it's like you're all living through it. It's kind of very cool to see the virtual audience, because we're all kind of experiencing this time together, and it's marking this weird moment in history, and we're all going through it together.
Totally.
Well, I know you've probably seen it a few times. I've watched it many times, but I want to show everyone who hasn't, or again, it's so good. So
thank you.
We're going to play you singing on The Voice, and then we'll have a quick chat about it. Okay? Here we go. Oh, yes.
That was so much fun.
Like rewatching it and stuff, what goes through your mind seeing those cuts and the takes and the reactions, and knowing, do you remember doing it live?
Oh, yes. I remember it like it was yesterday. And what I feel when I'm seeing that is I'm so proud of myself for taking a chance on myself. And because I almost didn't do it. But I said to myself, why not? If you're not going to do it, who's going to do it? So I'm proud of myself. I'm grateful. I'm humbled by it. And I feel so blessed. I really, really do. And I just hope that I inspire so many other people to try and go the distance, to stretch themselves. It is absolutely wonderful to see. I just can't believe it when I see it.
Well, so let me see. You have a beautifully unique sound, which I guess, like in some degrees, because mainstream people don't necessarily hear such a unique voice, a countertenor voice. So what about the sound surprised you about what the judges thought about your sound?
I think I know as a countertenor and performing all over the world, oftentimes I'm in circles where they do know what a countertenor is. But still, there are going to be people who come to see a show or come to see a Messiah or something that I'm doing that have never been to an opera before or never been to see oratorio performances before. So when they hear me sing, it is always the shock of and before I used to be a bigger guy, so they would say, "Oh man, you look like a linebacker, but you sing like an angel." So I've always had that be the factor whenever I would be singing. So I was not so shocked to see their faces. I was happy that was the look on their faces. And just to see Kelly when she turned around, I mean, it is absolutely amazing. And I tell you, the only thing that I was hoping for, I was just like, Lord, please just let one person turn their chair. And if they turn the chair, I'll just be excited, you know? So, yeah.
Well, my good, and within the community, internally, like I've heard people say, well, you probably, like, your singing technique and all that is probably beyond. They're very good judges and they have wonderful careers, but again, you take your singing very seriously, and again, and it's yeah. When it comes to this song as well, people in the community, maybe they're like, oh, is that good on your voice? How did it feel singing music, which again is not opera music?
It felt like singing. It felt like, I always tell people, for me, when I'm singing, I hate to be this person, but it really is truly me. So I always tell people I am what you see on TV. I am this way all the time. But for me, when I'm singing, I feel so free, and I feel completely like I'm soaring. And so to me, it is what I hope heaven is like. That is how free it feels when I'm singing. So it doesn't matter if I'm singing opera or if I'm singing jazz or gospel. It just feels like singing. It feels it's as second nature to me as taking a breath or drinking water. I just feel absolutely free to do and be however I want to be. So that's what it feels like.
As someone who commented, which came up, you are joy personified.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anita.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you must, is in the countertenor community, are you guys tight? Do you text with one another?
Yeah.
Or very competitive?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Totally.
So they must be very happy with how this is going.
I think so. I've gotten really sweet messages from all of my friends who are countertenors, and not just countertenors. I've gotten lots of messages from amazing world-class performers and other opera singers who are dear friends of mine too. And everyone seems to be very, very happy. I just think more than anything, I want to make the opera community proud that one of us went out and tried to do this, and hopefully somebody else will go out and do it next. You know, that's the goal. Exactly. I hope I can inspire them to do it too.
Well, and that's the thing, like in this weird pause that the performing arts and opera world is in right now.
Yes.
What can opera learn from, like you did it, your performance did it. You broke through, and sort of the eyeballs on you and your performance were more than, again, a performance at the Met, as much as, that's the pinnacle of what we're led to believe. And so what can we learn about television and film and this medium of interacting, do you think?
I think that it's been really wonderful. Opera is doing so many things right. So I don't want to aim to tell anybody in opera that they're doing something wrong, because certainly they're doing things that, I mean, I'm in it, but there's certainly producers who are doing things that I could never do or have yet to do. I should say it like that. But I certainly feel that one of the things that this show has really done well is that they have put the artists first. They have put our needs first, the safety of us first, the the notion of having us connect to our audiences however we can possible. I love the idea of doing the virtual audience, having the virtual audience there. They're looking. I know that we're struggling right now, I think, in all art forms, especially theater and opera, with how can we do these shows and not have an audience? Or how can we do this show and do half virtual, half in person? So I just think there are ways to look at it for sure. But I think in many ways it's kind of different. I mean, this is TV and it's a completely different thing, but in a way it's not different. I mean, it's in this moment, what I know is happening is that it's bringing joy into the homes of other people, and it's making them forget a little bit about some of the things that are going on. But in terms of I would say this, I think that the opera companies that we know are doing such a great job. And if anything, it would just be really cool to see all the opera companies around the world even be more creative in how they give their audiences what they need during the pandemic, and thinking about that past or post pandemic. So yeah, I don't think there's anything that opera is doing wrong, but I certainly think that we could even add more creativity across the board in every art form. I think that's always the goal: constant evolution.
Well, that's the thing, and I agree with you exactly. There's nothing wrong with what it was, but again, in this moment where what do we do? Being able to be flexible and put yourself out there and risk something is beautiful to see. And that's what, obviously, I'm drawn to innovators, and that's kind of what you are. Like, you're an innovator. You took a chance and you did that. So
thank you.
No, that's what's kind of, we need more of that.
What if everybody took a chance and they dared to think outside of the box? Can you imagine all of the wonderful yellow brick road of blessings that would happen if people actually thought outside of the box sometimes? And it's not that people don't. I think that some people do think outside of the box, but fear can sometimes stop us from doing it. And this was literally me being like, oh, fear, I see you, and I raise you joy, and I raise you happiness, and I raise you all these other things that I don't even know yet, but I'm going to do it. And so that's why I did it. So anybody who's watching, if you have an idea that no one else has, and no one else has it, or even if they do have it, you go for it, girl or guy, and you do it. You do it with your joy and your heart, and people will notice it. They will notice it. And the most important thing is that you will have done it.
John, and like, it's you, and that's what's kind of beautiful, and that's what I love about this moment is the personality of the artist is coming through, and that's what it seems like they support on the show as well. Be you, and we want to see you thrive. And and maybe I'm tempted to a little bit say that opera in the past hasn't always been as forthcoming in supporting the artists in their personality for whatever reason, and it feels like artists are really not taking back this moment, but stepping up in this moment.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think there have been moments where so many people have felt like they couldn't try to do things. And I get it. I have never been one of those people. I mean, and that's okay too. Either is fine. But I think that this is a time, one of my best friends, this is why I think it's important to have friends in your corner who light a fire under your butt, who kick you in the butt, who don't just tell you yes all the time. And one of my best friends told me, now is the time for you to do things like this. This is the time for you, if you want to reinvent yourself, to reinvent yourself. And this is like, I always tell my students, whenever a teacher is teaching, they're giving you tools to build your house. You can build it however you want to. You can build it with bricks, straw, stucco, half bricks, whatever you want. And this is my moment to do a renovation of my house, or to add a room onto my house, or maybe build a completely new house. So I'm lucky in that I get to do that. And I feel that now more than ever is the perfect time for all of us, each of us, to get out there and just see what you can think of, see what you can do. The world is craving your artistry right now. The world is craving it. So why not?
Oh, exactly. Why not? Why not? So you're on The Voice, and if you looked at it, if that's act one of this opera that you are in right now, what are the next acts? For those who don't watch The Voice, It's on Monday and Tuesday. Is that correct?
That's it. That's right.
NBC.com/The Voice. You can find all that information. And about John, we'll get his website and all his social handles so you can follow him.
Yes, please follow me.
There you go. There, it's scrolling down on the bottom. So what is the next step in terms of what happens on the show so that we can tune in and follow your journey as well?
Great. What happens on the show, of course, we have the blinds that happen first. And I believe those are still showing across the United States and abroad, I guess, at this point. And after the blinds, then we go into the battle rounds. And then that's when the coach, whoever you've chosen to go with, they pick your song. They pick this song that you have to do a duet with a partner, and you don't know who the partner is. I mean, you're learning this stuff as you go along. And so then you get to sing with your partner. After that, I believe there is the knockout rounds. And then if you do well and you make it, there's other things that come up as well. You know, there's a live playoffs and all of that wonderful stuff. So it's exciting to be in this. I guess you can think of it as an opera. I never thought of that. I honestly never thought of that until just now. So this is an opera.
Yeah, and you're in it. It's amazing.
I am.
And what team are you on? What team are you on?
I am on Team Legend. And if you are on my team out there, if you're on my team, you're what I call a holiday.
A holiday.
Holiday.
Oh, I like that. A holiday. Amazing. So, okay. So how was that? Did you get a chance to talk with the judges afterwards? Like, I guess because of social distancing and stuff, that there wasn't the hugs and all that stuff, but
we didn't get to have hugs and things like that, but we definitely did get to speak with the coaches. You see us do that as soon as we finish our singing. We got up and moved closer to them to speak to them, and then spoke to them other times as well. But I'm lucky to be on John Legend's team. He's such a dear heart. He is, of course, incredibly talented. He's very kind, and I think he's fantastic. So I'm happy to be on his team.
Hashtag Team Legend.
Yes.
Amazing. So wrapping up this kind of discussion a little bit, it's very exciting. You kind of mentioned it at the top. Two little questions at the end here. What are you hoping for overall? What are you hoping for either through this experience or for all of our colleagues and artists who are kind of hurting right now? And where does your mind take you?
There are a few things, if you don't mind me talking about it, is that I really hope that my being on the show is an inspiration to the next generation, but even to people who are from my generation and beyond, to trust in yourself, to think beyond what you can see in front of you. There's something else that's out there, and oftentimes we haven't gone the distance because we're afraid. And if anything that I can show people while I'm on this show, I'm hoping that I can show them what it looks like when someone, no matter if you've reached the highest of heights, which I don't think I have. I'm a person who was slow and steady climbing. But to reach the height of what you're doing in your job and say, you know what, I want to try for something else. I want more. I want to do more. Go for it. I also, I'm a person who's very visual. So I've always made, thank you, Mike. That's very sweet. I am a person who am very visual, and I did a vision board, and I've written down SMART goals and things like that, specific, measurable, all these things. And one of the goals I've always had in my life was to be the #1 countertenor in the world. And then I thought, well, maybe that's too lofty. I can be America's countertenor. But one of my major things in the measurable part of that was like being a household name. I want to be a name that people know. I want to be someone that people can look to and say, I am inspired by him. And because he did that, I'm going to try to do this. So that's what I hope. And I do more than anything. You guys, I recognize how blessed and how lucky I am to be on the show in a time that typically I would not be able to sing at all. Like literally every single one of my engagements has been canceled. Every one of them. But by the grace of God, somehow I believed in myself enough to try to do this thing that was totally outside of the box. Mm-hmm. And now I'm on a national TV show, and now I'm talking with you all. And I really do pray that when I or any of my friends who are on the show, whenever we're on the show, I hope that our singing and our story will help to just bring you a little bit of joy during the day and make you forget about all the chaos that's around you and remind you that there's so much hope, joy, and love. And I'm happy to be a part of that.
Holiday, that is it. That's it right there. This has been amazing. Jumping back into the opera world just quickly.
Yes.
Dream opera role that you've either done or want to do, that probably you'll get tons of offers after this. I would hope so.
The dream role I have done that I always, there's so many of them, so I have to do one. But the one role that I had done that I wanted to do, that I have done, I did it at the Glimmer Glass, was Xerxes, and I've now done it. I was going to do it a second time. That, of course, got taken away because of COVID. So Xerxes, I would love to do Bertarido and Rodolinda. I would love to do Ptolomeo, the title role. I loved being John Blue in We Shall Not Be Moved. And it's an opera that I feel like should be done in every corner of the earth. Wherever there's an opera company, they should be doing We Shall Not Be Moved, period. It's one of the most amazing operas that tells a story that's so poignant and so right now. That's one. And I love the role of the refugee in flight. See, you can't get just one answer out of me.
I love it. It's good. It's good. Well, that's what is beautiful. And you, again, someone who, I love what I do, but again, you inspired me, and that's kind of what it was. I saw this and I was just, this is amazing, because I felt like I understood a little bit of the risk that you took to do this, and hearing your voice, it's no risk, because your voice is gold. So,
well, thank you. So that means the world to me. And I don't just say it because I'm on here. I promise you that, because you don't have to say, the truth is, you don't have to say anything about my singing. But the moment that you do, what it does for me is it validates me in a way, because what it does for me is it lets me know that you see me, you hear me, you get me, and in some small way you love me too. So I appreciate that very, very much, and it does not go unnoticed, and I'm so thankful for it. So thank you very much.
John Holiday, and what a name. You've got the great show name as well. So
thanks.
Here's John Holiday. There are tons of beautiful videos of him singing a wide variety of music. Just go to Google, type in John Holiday, and it'll all stroll up. Thank you for NBC for making this work. And John Holiday, we will be following you. And thank you so much for doing this today. And when you're done, and when we're all allowed to do this, hopefully you'll come up and work in Canada and come to Toronto. We'd love to make that happen.
I would love to. I would love it. I've never been to Toronto, so you just let me know and I'm gonna come, okay? And Zita's gonna come too.
Yeah, Zita, she's like, come sing in Toronto when it's possible.
I will. I promise you. I promise you. We're gonna work on it. I promise.
Perfect. Thank you, John. Have a good night, and we look forward to seeing you on TV.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.